Very good day to you, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the Candid Talk. My name is Evans Okinyi. I'm here with Wakili Willis Otieno. Wakili, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
I want us to, first of all, begin by looking at the aftermath of President William Ruto's tour on the mountain. Of course, it was a development tour, so to say. What do you pick from this particular event? Because one, the president has said, in the first place, he said it wasn't political. I know we've had this conversation with you and you've told me here that it was political. Now, for you, if you look at it, it's over and he's back. Look at the kind of reception that he got there. All those events that took place within that particular tour and trip, and what the president actually needs to do, if at all, is calculating politically moving forward. Would you say that his tour on the mountain, if at all it was political, was actually successful in your view?
You know, success depends on what someone is looking at. And in my view, if you look at the people's response to the pillars of William Ruto, the Kimani Chungwas, the Wamurathas, and the Kimani, the MP for Ngunjiri, the MP for Laikipia, when people are heckling them, it simply tells you that his pillars are rejected. Those are the ones that he will leave when he lives on the ground, when he goes back to Nairobi. They're being rejected, loudly so. So he has no pillars in the mountain, and that to me is a demonstration that he has actually lost that constituency. And he has to look elsewhere. Back to sender was the message from the people of the mountain. And there's also loud conversation that some of those crowds were mobilized. I mean, in this failed economy, when many of our young people don't have jobs and they have no ways of earning money, if you offer them between 1,000 to 10,000 shillings to attend a rally, even the border borders who were told to follow him everywhere, it was a harvest season in the mountain. So people will turn up and receive the money. But on the question of if they will vote for him, I believe the loud murmurs of disapproval of his pillars was enough to tell you that he has no chance with that vote.
Look at it. Talk to me about the kind of reception that the president, alone, leave alone his pillars. I want us to focus on the president, first of all, before we get to the pillars. He wasn't heckled anywhere. The kind of people, that mammoth that we saw attend those particular rallies of his, doesn't that sense some sort of different kind of opinion based on what we actually expected? Because we expected that now that there seemed to be a fallout between the president and the mountain region, that people wouldn't even attend.
You know, as I've told you, if people are given money to appear at a particular location, they will go. Because the economy is harsh for everybody. Everybody is feeling the economic pain. Okay. So if someone is giving you 3,000 to attend a rally, in this economy, who will say no? Many people will say no, say yes, and attend. And you cannot say that you will discuss William Ruto's trip in Central in isolation from his pillars. You cannot have a house without a... No, understand this. Yes. You cannot have a house without a pillar. And if the pillars have been brought down, then you'll be a fool to think that you still have a house. Because what will hold you? Okay. What will hold the message beyond you? And those are the pillars who are being rejected. So even him. So if the mountain extended him courtesy and not boo him, but they heckled his pillars, the message is home. You don't need them to tell him to his face.
The people believe that.
Because what reason were those local leaders being booed?
Okay.
There cannot be any reason for them being booed for.
The people were saying
other than their political stance. That was the reason for their booing. That is the only thing. What has Kimani Ichung'wah done that is beyond supporting William Ruto? So why were they rejecting him? If they're in love with William Ruto, they will have as well loved him. And it's not the first time that he's appeared in that region with William Ruto. He has so many times. People have cheered him when he's with him. So what has he done this time that is different from what he had not done before? Okay. It simply means that the mountain has walked out of William Ruto and he has remained with him. So when you see people heckling him, they're simply telling him, we are sorry. You're the one going to be left here with us. We have no chance with us.
The people believe that maybe the people have a problem with these individuals and not the president.
But what will be the problem with the individuals? Because what has Kimani Ichung'wah done this year that is different from what he did 2 years ago? Okay. There's no difference. It's been the same Kimani Ichung'wah supporting William Ruto, doing the same things. And before he was receiving flowers, now he's receiving thorns. The only difference I'm telling you is the people they were addressing have moved on from William Ruto. Him, he has remained. So they are telling him, don't think that you're going to be any relevant in our politics going forward. And why? Because you've remained with the person you've rejected. So he has no chance with the mountain. He can try elsewhere. A man must try. And that was an attempt to try to assuage the mountain. In fact, to William Ruto, that was an icebreaker. And you're going to see him invest heavily in the mountain. Very soon you're going to see more church services now in the mountain, hoping that that will make people become familiar with him and forgive him his trespasses. But his atrocities are unforgivable. His fate is sealed with that mountain. He only has a chance elsewhere, but not in that mountain, in my view.
2027 August, the election day, a voter from the mountain region walks into a polling station, finds there 6 papers with definitely 6 different candidates. Do you think that if at all, let's say that of course William Ruto would be there on the ballot, at the same time Kimani Ichung'wah would be somewhere, maybe for a member of parliament of his particular constituency, that this person would just go ahead and then vote Kimani Ichung'wah out, but then still go ahead and vote for William Ruto?
But why are they voting Kimani Ichung'wah out? It's because of his stance on national politics. And who represents that national stance on politics is William Ruto. So they'll all go together. Buy one, get one free. So they'll all go. But they must try. They will try. But my reading of the ground and my reading of the nation is a rejection of William Ruto. Not just in the mountain, but across the country. And the reason why people are rejecting them, as I've always said, is the economy. Nothing else. It's just the mismanagement of the economy. People are poorer today than they were last year. And there is no hope that tomorrow will be any better. Badi has just told you that the budget outlook is not, the economy is not looking good in the coming years. In fact, he had said the earliest you can get a reprieve, if you're lucky, is 2034. So who is going to vote to support their continued economic pain? Kenyans are the wiser.
Talking of Mbadi's words, do you think if there is a regime change, then Kenyans may not have to wait until 20?
Of course, the Safina regime will change this. And I've told you our main problem, the largest expenditure item of our budget is debt finance. It will only take a regime that has the conviction to confront that debt monster. Then things will change. Because Mbadi next year must pay, this coming financial year from July this year. That new financial year is supposed to pay 2.2 trillion in debt finance. His collection this year, this financial year, is going to be 2.3 trillion. In other words, almost 100% of what he collected this year, if the budget remains as it is, you're going to spend it on debt finance. So he must come back to the people and increase their taxes. Get some breather. And that is what, as a Safina, we are saying is unsustainable. You need a convicted leader who will say, I must confront the debt monster. At the time when Kibaki was leaving, debt was 2.7 trillion. Our total debt stock, 2.7 trillion, which is manageable because we're only paying 18% of our revenue was going to debt finance. Today, 70% is going to debt finance, and it's increasing. Very soon it will even be 80. That's unsustainable. That is why they keep coming to you to raid your pockets, because the debt stock is now at 11 trillion. In 15 years, you moved your debt from 2.7 to 11 trillion. And the problem lies with Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto. They're the ones who took these illegal debts, these odious debts, that is causing economic pain to the people of Kenya.
Let's get back to what took place in Central Region. There have been allegations of people being paid to attend. And of course, those in the government, especially the supporters of President William Ruto, have said, look, those things are not true, and you cannot actually pay all those people to attend. But of course, I have a very close friend personally who was hired all the way from here to Githunguri to attend one of the rallies, and I was like, what did you go there to do? It was just there supposed to kind of be present, offer some sort of support to the president. I'm like, were you paid? And he told me, yes, we were paid, and that is why I went there. I was having that conversation with him on a Saturday. Now, let us look at this. If at all there could be some sort of people who are paid, hired crowds and all that, what would be the cost of doing all this with that kind of number of people whom we saw there at a time when we are facing these challenges as a country? Don't you think that the government owes it to the country to explain actually how much money was spent in that particular 5-day tour of the region?
You know, in working democracy, you will not even need to pay people to attend your rallies because you'll be going there to discuss issues affecting them. But in a failed system like William Ruto's system, you will have to resort to paying people to be able to attend his meetings. And they will not tell you the amount. There is no accountability. They will not even tell you that they paid people. In fact, they will deny. They will say they never paid anybody. But the truth is out there. There are so many videos of people who are paid, people waiting outside offices to be given their allowance for the day. That is the norm now in our politics. Kenya Kwanza has now brought in the ugly side of our lives, that people are so desperate and bereft of dignity that they will leave anything, for anything, they don't have nothing to do, that they have to go and follow politicians to give them money. Because the economy is not working for them. So when an opportunity to make money comes, they will go and get it. But that does not help in any way the political cause of William Ruto. And I'm sure they use a colossal sum of money just to get those crowds that they were addressing in Central. And you've seen videos of people gladly saying how it was a very good harvest season. In fact, the message they had for to the people of Western Kenya is that the going rate is not 200. The minimum is 1,000. And it can go up. So you should negotiate from a base rate of 1,000 and it can go up to 5,000. But you see, when he went to Western Kenya, he was giving 200 Kenya shillings to the crowds. But now Central has told the rest of the country that the rate is a bit higher. It should not be 200, it should be 1,000 for William Ruto to address you. And I'm sure they gave that money to the young people. And it's their money anyway. So nobody should feel ashamed of receiving that money. The only sad thing is that we're expending that money in political campaign when the bulk of our people are facing serious economic challenges with a failed health system. They are not able to access university education because the university funding model is not working. Many people are jobless. They are not able to afford 3 decent meals in a day. Some are barely making a meal in a day because the cost of living is very high and people cannot afford to fully participate in this economy. That to me is the only downside of what is going on.
Why do you think the president would spend that heavily, if at all it's true that people are paid, on, especially in a region where he's got the list of support, if anything is to go by right now?
Optics. William Ruto understands that without the vote from the mountain region, then his path to power has not only narrowed, but it is completely vanquished. That region gave him 55% of the votes that he received. Without that vote, he has to go around the country to look for the replacement vote. Which is that area that will give him the replacement vote? He doesn't have it. I've always told you that William Ruto survives on the energy of Raila Odinga. He's on a life support machine provided by Raila Odinga through his political networks. Without that life support, he's gone. And unfortunately for him, even that support that Raila gives him in an election, even if you support him, those votes will not be enough and they cannot succeed. So in his desperate attempt to survive, he has to go down to the mountain and try to change the vote, bring it back to him. Because you cannot downplay the role that that vote played in his victory in the last elections. But the sad thing about this for William Ruto is that he's campaigning to become president. He's forgetting that he's actually the president. He should work. His campaign should be, his work should campaign for him. It should demonstrate to the people of Kenya his capacities and his capabilities of what he can do as a president. But he's unable to. So now he's been caught in a vicious web of trying to get re-elected. And to what end? Why do you want to be re-elected? You're already in office. Deliver to the people. And that question of whether you'll be re-elected will be answered based on your delivery. But he can't seem to understand that. So he's desperate to get the support of those who previously voted for him to come back to his political fold. But it will not work. For as long as the economy is in the state in which it is.
The promises made, the projects launched, do you think that those will be enough for him to make amends with the people of that particular region?
As some young man put it, that William Ruto was launching a classroom built by CDF in financial year 2023-2024. A classroom that can be launched by a teacher on duty. Built by CDF funds. William Ruto was on top of cars developing the national budget, promising projects which are not found anywhere in our national budget. Of course, those are just sound bites. You saw even those vehicles from rural electrification moving all over with poles following him to his stops. It simply means that he was just doing it for optics. It goes and takes a photo here. We are launching this electric project, then the vehicle moves to the next location. So there's nothing he's doing. He's just looking for photo ops to try to hoodwink Kenyans that he's actually working. But it's not working. And Kenyans are now the wiser. Don't think that those who are in the village are fools. They're not fools. They are equally as bright as the people in the towns. And they have discernment. They can tell when the truth is being served on them.
So who is a fool here? Who is a fool here? Because definitely
The
President...
fool here is Kenya Kwanza. They think they are fooling everybody, but they're fooling themselves. And their reality will come to them very soon. Sooner than they even anticipate. Because the people that think they're fooling are now the wiser. They can see through them. And they can tell that all this you're doing is just optics with an aim to hoodwink us, that you mean well. If William Ruto and Kenya Kwanza meant well for this country, we will all be feeling it in our own homes. And we will have given a verdict in support. But since they have failed to address the economic challenges of the country, we've also reached a conclusion. And the Kenyan people are very clear that what you're trying to do is just to hoodwink us. We will not buy it. And that's the vast majority of the people.
Is it the first time he's doing it?
He lied to people before when he was not in office. You know, Michelle Obama said, something about power is that it does not change people. It reveals your true character. So William Ruto's true character has just been revealed. That is incompetent. And he has no solutions to the things that matter to the people of Kenya. And the number one issue that matters to the people of Kenya is the economy. Number two is the one working social systems, which in his administration, those social systems are collapsing. The economy is tanking. There are more people who are jobless than they were last year. And there are more people who are looking at a bleak future than they were last year. And that is why the people have made a cautious decision that our political journey with William Ruto in terms of leadership is over. And they're just waiting for them to go through the motions to actualize that decision.
He's saying that the rest of the, of course, the aspirants, the rest of the presidency aspirants, as far as 2027 election is concerned, should actually focus on selling their manifesto to the people. I know you are very much involved there because right now you're the deputy party leader of Safina party, at the same time running mate to Honorable Jimmy Wanjigi. The president he is saying, stop throwing jabs at him. Kindly sell your manifesto to the people. And of course, he said that he's looked around, he's not seen anybody worth his salt enough to face him in 2027. What do you have to say about that as well?
If he's looked around and he's not seen anybody worth to challenge him, then he can as well stay in State House. Why is he all over motor vehicles? That's a man who has panicked. He can see for himself that he's losing the people. Yeah. But as a Safina, our manifesto is known, what we stand for. How we stand for supply-side economics. 3 pillars, and I've always said it, and I'll repeat it. Less government, reduce taxation, private sector, empower the private sector, the private individual, as the driver of the economy. Government just becomes a facilitator. And you identify which government barrier is stopping you from accessing markets, and you remove it. Government identifies and helps you to identify new markets. And you remove the barriers and allow people to access those markets for them to actualize their potential. Stop borrowing the domestic market. Allow people to access capital at a lesser interest rate that they can afford to be able to advance their innovations. We are very clear. But he has created his own make-believe world that is invincible. But the day of reckoning is coming. And the Kenyan people will have a date with him, a date with his destiny. which is that he cannot lead this country. His mindset is a 19th century mindset. It's not primed for the modern world of AI, which we are in today. And the Kenyan people are looking for that type of a leader who is not going to be a lord over us, but is going to be a servant that comes up with policies that give us an opportunity to self-actualize and to grow and achieve our full potential. That is what Safina Party represents. And the people will have a date to make their choice.
Okay. So President William Ruto was in northeastern region. Ultimately, when he left, the people were saying he lied to them. He went to the courts, he was saying he lied to us. Again, in western, it's all about lies. And then now in central, now that his journey, his tour has come to an end in this particular region, we are talking of high-octane lies. And this is the same person. So what makes you think that at the end of the day, he would still not lie his way to the presidency?
But unfortunately for him, for the presidency, you have to vote. It's not about lying. People will have to vote. And he's in office. So he's judged differently from before.
He's in office and you know how he got there.
He lied to get there.
And he's still doing the
And
same.
now he's lying, and the people he lied to are the ones who are rejecting him. So it would have been different if people are believing his lies, like they did before. So there's been a shift. People are no longer believing those lies. Whereas before they could believe those lies, now they don't believe those lies. That's why they're questioning him. They're calling him to account for all his promises. Hence, you're seeing the political challenges we're facing in the country. So he will wish that he can lie and get away with it, but he will not succeed. But in Kenya Kwanza, they do hope that Kenyans will forget. I don't think Kenyans are forgetful. Kenyans are now keeping records. They are now historians. They are storing information on their phones. They are recording things as they are said. And at an appropriate moment, they will play them and make a decision. And the people will decide what they want. What I believe, Kenyans are tired of lies. Kenyans are now focused on action. Action that will change and transform their lives. Not action that is premised on lies that they've rejected.
Well, that is it from Wakili Willie Sotino here, ladies and gentlemen. We are looking at the aftermath of President William Ruto's visit in the central Kenya region. But of course, the president is still hell-bent in going around the country and visiting people, talking about development projects that he has for us. Well, let's wait and see whether these will actually yield fruits. In the meantime, we are still keeping our eyes and tabs on the president's next strategy as far as his political ambitions are concerned. Let's wait and see. We'll keep you up to date with comprehensive analysis of the same. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Evans Okinyi.